chronicling, is that even a word? Hey everyone, it's Ryan, Southern Card Collector, back with another video. And it's been a while since we've been together, but I'm excited to bring you this video today about my experience at the World Series back in October in Atlanta. This video combines a few really cool things that's happened to me over the past few months. It deals with a relationship with a close family member, as well as going back in time and being able to reestablish some connections with our old LCS back from the 90s. So the video title is How Junk Wax Cards Sent Me to the World Series, and that's pretty much what happened. My cousin and I were able to get a hold of our old LCS's inventory, and through some different events and things that happened, I was able to buy a ticket to the World Series. So sit back, and I hope you enjoy the video. I'm going to share with you some screenshots and videos related to this journey, and some of it will be pictures of cards or wax that we've sold already from this collection that kind of helped pay for this trip. And I also want to show you some of the memories that I have in Atlanta on the way to it, and maybe some past memories that kind of connect this whole story. As a baseball fan, I hope that Major League Baseball and the Players Association can come together and get a product back on the field for us fans who love the game so much. But I want to give you a little bit of backstory about my cousin and myself. We've been close ever since we were young. We're practically like brothers. He's a few years older than me, but in the early 2000s, he had these crazy ideas, and we would go to tons of different sporting events together. At one point, we would even sell these crazy hats at Alabama football games. He actually got a patent for these, and we would set up with a license outside of the stadium and sell these kooky hats. I mean, looking back, they're just such a novelty, but people just would buy anything. So it was such a great event. I don't even know if we made any money, but we had such a good time together. We even got a letter from the NCAA telling us to stop selling these hats because we were breaking trademark laws. But we actually won that battle. We traveled to the Rose Bowl together in 2000, and also in 2001. We spent time at the Alabama game in Norman, Oklahoma. So that led into lots of road trips for us, for sporting events, going out on fishing adventures, going shark fishing, lots of family trips over the years.
Yeah, starting here, goes all the way back, way down there.
My first encounter with collecting sports cards was in his bedroom when we were kids. His collecting began back in the mid-'80s, and I remember Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, John Elway cards and rookies, Michael Jordan cards, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and in baseball, Cal Ripken, Jose Canseco, Don Mattingly, Tony Gwynn, and of course King Griffey Jr. rookie cards just lining these thin, shallow shelves along his wall. We would flip through the Beckett magazines and see names and the associated values that accompanied those cards, and I was trying to wrap my 8-year-old mind around what my 12-year-old cousin was trying to explain to me. I just mostly like looking at the pictures that were in the book. Like many of us, collecting took a backseat to other interests and hobbies, but we all know that collectors never really stop being collectors. And so now we're full circle again. We both collect again with our kids. His interests are Michael Jordan star sticker cards and whatever his daughter's into, and I like collecting certain cards from various decades along with my kids. One day I get a call from him, and he says, "Hey man, you've got to come to my house. I've got something you've got to see I've gotten into." So he was searching for some Jordans and Kobe cards when he had landed this collection from our old card shop owner. So I step into his house, and immediately I knew what I had found. It was like crazy. I had spent a few evenings there just pouring through the massive cards, hoping to find a nice haul of my favorite Braves. My cousin needed help managing this large inventory, and he knew that I was knowledgeable and I had been collecting for many years. So he made me a deal. He said if I would sort these cards, organize them, kind of manage everything, and sell the cards in the wax boxes, while he and my uncle actually took on the financial burden, we would basically split the profit that we made back off the cards 3 ways. So my goal was to get them kind of out of the red and then after that make a few bucks and find a few cards that I like on the side. So it was definitely a win for me. So I hauled all the boxes home and I spent a couple months just organizing and coming up with a plan. And that's some of the information I'll share with you in the later video about how to manage something like this. If you ever run into such a big inventory of cards and you make a huge purchase like this, like where do you start? How do you determine how you're going to sell this stuff off, what you're going to keep, where you're going to sell it, and how to organize it? So then I started creating a list and started trying to sell some of this off over the summer and into the fall. The Braves were definitely dragging along before the All-Star break, which was frustrating considering the talent that was in the dugout and the bullpen. So at the time, World Series wasn't even a thought. And at that point, just getting into the postseason looked doubtful without winning the division. The Braves proceeded to have an amazing second half of the season, sparked by some key trade deadline acquisitions, and of course they won the National League East. And they came into the postseason like you would want your team, playing their best baseball. And once the team makes the postseason, of course, now anything's possible. You have a chance to make it to the World Series. All of a sudden, it was real. The Braves were on the biggest stage in baseball. Years of watching a mediocre product with a young, underrated superstar first baseman turned into a fun young team led by a veteran superstar first baseman and a gutsy pitching rotation and bullpen. I had no clue how I was going to be able to pay for this ticket. They were astronomically high. And that's when our venture into selling off a mass collection of cards collided with an unforgettable trip. I told you timing and opportunity. Well, the opportunity presented itself. 90 sports cards paid my way to the World Series, and I couldn't believe how it came together. I'd spent months of preparing and selling these cards, not knowing that the money would buy my way into the World Series, and the love and generosity of a family member would help me get there. We took a risk buying Game 5 tickets, but it worked out. The atmosphere was incredible. Over 130,000 people filled Truist Park and the surrounding area and the Battery. Just to be in that moment was great. I got to see Adam Duvall's grand slam come right at me, and I watched Brantley turn and stare at the ball just drop behind him over the brick wall in right field. The cheers were deafening. My newfound friend sitting next to me was like, "Dude, you called that shot." Just before he hit it, I said, "Man, he's going to hit a home run." I'm sure thousands of other Braves fans said that at the same time. A great night would have been even more magical if the Braves had closed out that series at home that night. But despite that, the one more game that was needed in Houston was fine with me. That night was such a highlight of my fandom. I was able to see my favorite player, Freddie Freeman, hit a home run in the World Series in person. So I got to witness two great World Series moments in Braves history that I'll never forget. I hope the Braves make it back to that big stage again, as all fans do, but it was truly a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Who knew that my love for collecting and a great relationship with a family member would lead to the best memories as a sports fan? And I really hope for you as a baseball fan that one day your team is in the World Series and you get the same kind of opportunity. If you made it to the end of this video, thanks for watching. If you're a subscriber, thanks for tuning back in. And if you're not a subscriber, click that subscription button, click the bell for notifications, and leave a like if you enjoyed this. And of course, as always, if you collect, do it for the love of the hobby. See ya.